Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Soulful Abundance. I am so super excited to have my friend Michele Parad here. She is going to share some amazing things about archetypes and uncovering your brilliance. And Michele, I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for letting me interview you today and having you here.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure. Thank you for having me as your guest. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Hey, so tell me a little bit about you, what it is that you do, what is your passion, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I call myself an intuitive guide and a business strategist. So I
Mhm.
really blend the two worlds of spirituality along with science and strategy. So it's hard to label oneself, but I'm really this hybrid between a healing container, a leadership coaching, and a marketing agency, effectively, kind of all rolled into one. And that's kind of been an evolution that I've taken over time. I really started out well, I have a background of 12 plus years in marketing and business development, working with tech startups. So
Mm.
I've really seen the full gamut of what makes companies succeed and fail, just from looking from the outside and the whole ecosystem that surrounds companies, as well as, later on discovering the mindset principles that can also affect leadership and the culture that they develop as a result. And so I've had this interesting, background of jumping kind of from one company to the next, trying to find my environment and not quite feeling like I was fitting
Mm.
anywhere specifically. I was definitely gaining a lot of skill sets, but I kind of felt like an alien, frankly, in a different way.
Really?
And I didn't really quite know why, and was always feeling like, people were trying to, excuse me, fit me into some kind of very narrow role that and I did very well pretty much in everything that I always worked very hard, but I felt very, kind of in a box. And I'm sure a lot of people here probably feel or have felt that at some point in time. And so, despite my desire to work for organizations that were very purpose led,
Mhm.
I felt that I needed to jump on an entrepreneurial
Mm.
route where I could define more of who I am
Mm.
and how I wanted to show up in the world, rather
Yeah.
than have other people sort of tell me what that story, is, or to tell me what kind of role I can or can't have. And so yeah, it was this journey of trying to understand what would that really look like,
Mhm.
authentically, and do something purposeful, that really, that I super enjoyed and I was making money from.
Mm.
So meanwhile, I went through kind of an existential, crisis that typically leads to spirituality, I think, for a lot of people. So I started studying so many different types of modalities, and then I got a specific healing called the life activation, and that completely changed my life because it was like they didn't even touch me. And I had this hormonal disbalance that completely went away at that point in time. So I was like, why do people not know about this?
Yes, no doubt.
So it was really, I was super intrigued. So I went on a basically just healing myself journey.
Mhm.
And it evolved into me developing my own intuitive gifts. And
Mm.
so I started sort of on the side helping people with all kinds of issues, whether it's diseases or relationship problems, whatever their challenges were at that moment in time. There is always a way to connect with source in the universe to sort of get some information,
Yeah.
about what the root cause is of
Mm.
what's really troubling them. And so, yeah, that whole world I was just super intrigued by, and I continued to get more and more passionate about. And unfortunately, I kept those worlds very separate. It was like I had my 9 to 5, and then I had this whole other world that, afterwards. And so I was kind of helping people on the side. And then at one point, I started helping people with their business models.
Mhm.
That's kind of what was coming through as well. So I was like, well, I need to figure out how I can help people in this unique place where I'm at, which is that having that background and understanding of business and weaving that into how I'm helping people. So that's sort of the evolution of where I got to now. Um,
Mhm.
and, you know, it was getting over this, oh, it's not possible to merge these two worlds
Yeah.
I kind of had to, because that spirituality world was very much, I kept it secret. I kept it, you
Mhm.
know, kind of like this place, like depending on who I was talking to, I would uncover it or not.
Yeah.
Um, and so finally I accepted that, at one point that this was meant to be part of my path, and how to fully integrate that, all the parts of me, and be able to share that with the world.
I love that story so much. I love that you're like, you know what? How do I integrate all the parts of me? Right? Because that's what we want, right? I mean, that's like we want to be authentically and genuinely and to celebrate all the different parts. And I love that you found such a beautiful way to tap into this intuitive spiritual part as well with the practical, right? That can seem kind of woo to people, right? And then the practical applications of marketing and business. I would love to just kind of dive into some of those
Yeah.
pieces as well. Who is it that, like, when we think about business, are there
Mhm.
any specific people that you love to help?
Oh,
Like, I know you said tech startup before, so I was just curious, is it
oh,
still in the
right.
tech world or?
Um, it's not about, it's more about the essence of the person. Uh,
Mm,
it's,
mhm,
I don't go after a demographic. I
mhm,
help men and women.
mhm,
Um, I'm not like partial to a specific age category either, but
mhm.
it's more about somebody who's on their spiritual journey and wants to uncover their mission. They have a very, very specific mission, and actually multiple missions. I
Mhm.
tend to work with people who are multi-passionate, so they've got
Yeah.
maybe 3 missions inside of them, and
Mm,
they're trying to juggle all of their desires together, and navigating that is a whole other ball game as well. And they deeply want to be seen as themselves, along with making a lot of money. That, the
yeah,
prosperity piece is a really
yeah,
big part of it as
sure.
well.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so it's more, again, I really like going into archetypes, but yeah, it's more of an archetype than it is like a demographic.
Mhm,
It's someone who is wanting to learn about different spiritual tools to aid them along the way,
mhm.
and to develop this innate like leadership capability, so that you have the discernment, when you're going out there, like, is what someone else's advice good for me or not? Or is
Yes.
is this opportunity that came into my field, is it really what I'm meant to be doing? Or am
Mhm.
I like people pleasing and then going off in a completely opposite direction than I should be?
Oh my
Uh,
gosh, yes. I'm like hitting the yes button, hitting the double click button on this for sure. Lots of hearts are floating up now because we tend, as entrepreneurs, not only are we multifaceted, right? We've got a gazillion ideas because we're excited about creating, but we also tend to give our power away, right? Instead of really tapping into that inner wisdom and saying, is this, I could do it, but is this the right thing for me now?
right, right.
Right. Does this feel like it matches? I love this. This is
Yeah,
such a conversation.
I just, yeah, it comes from personal experience as well, because I got all these certifications. I have so many
Mhm.
certifications, like, and
I
I
know.
got like instructors or in certifications in theta healing. Like, I went pretty deep into that particular modality. So I thought, well, I did all this work, like I should be instructing it. Like that should be part of what I'm doing because I invested so much of my time
Yeah.
into it. And so I was even sort of trying to collaborate with other people to teach it, and it wasn't actually aligned with what I was supposed to do. So that's the interesting part, is that sometimes you can get trainings and things that are helpful for your ultimate mission. So all of these, I deeply use all of these tools for the work that I'm doing currently, but it doesn't mean, you certify as a coach doesn't mean you should be a coach. You certify as this or that doesn't mean that that's actually your path. It gave you maybe virtues, it gave you lessons, it gave you, beautiful wisdom. But we still have to be true and authentic to what our actual role is. And so that can get confusing. That can, with people on a purposeful path, it's like, am I supposed to be, maybe I'm supposed to be, I'm a super networker, so I should be gathering people together in a community, and that's the business model that I should have, right? So it's knowing yourself on a deep level as to what you're super skilled at and how you want to bring that about within the industry you're passionate about, or within the sphere that you're in. So it's really helping people navigate that, because sometimes it requires some pivots, if people are ready to embrace that.
Yeah, totally. Let's dive into the archetypes, because I know that is a piece you had mentioned a couple times about archetypes to help you kind of uncover your brilliance.
Yes. So I uncovered 12 archetypes. There are many that exist. I haven't invented them necessarily. But what I did was I looked at the people that I worked with and kind of gave them kind of a description. So these are kind of based off of real life people. And then I had them take the test, and they got the one that I
thought they were.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, this is working on some level. So it's not exactly brand archetypes, because I know that's quite out there. Like there's the sage, and there's that, and that more so describes, it can be related to your brilliance, but it more so describes like, your color palette, your tone, the voice that you want to convey in your messaging. So it can be synonymous, but the brilliance one is much more about what is your form of expression, and kind of what is your way of operating inside your business as well.
So the 12 archetypes for kind of your mode of operation.
Right. And so I mean, as an example, my archetype is the magician, and it has nothing to do with, being a trickster or doing some magic trick, to get people to, buy from you or anything like that. That could be the shadow side of it, which I kind of go into it as well. But it's really tapping into the power of manifestation and the power of attracting things to you without effort. That's the main thing. So for a while, when I started my business, I was doing it from a wounded place, because my family had a long lineage of like, work hard, that's how you get the results. And there is a place for working hard, except for, you want to work according to your actual goals, and identifying your actual goals, and moving in that direction, not working for the sake of working and saying, I'm a warrior because I am up till whatever, so that was pretty detrimental to me. And so I had to work through peeling back the layers of not needing to feel that way, not needing to like constantly do something to progress my business. And in fact, when I was taking, time to meditate, to pause, to really think about what I wanted and to get intuitive hints about it, then like magical things happened, because it was like other people would do things for me. I mean, that, and I had glimpses of that in my past jobs as well. Once I started working in the healing space, it was like suddenly this area that I didn't want to do, like, got passed on to someone else. I got a different desk where it was like the best view, all these
I love that. You're like, all right, bring it on.
shifting things around. And it was like, even interestingly, like the lowest vibrational people started leaving one at a time as well. So sort of clearing out that office as well. And so, these are the types of things that start to happen when you start to learn about alchemy and manifestation and the law of attraction and all these things. So for a blip second, maybe several years, I forgot that I actually have this power within me. And so it's really important to start to imagine yourself as that archetype, like really visualize yourself as that. And then how would it be to walk around the world as that, and being certain that that is what's going to lead to, great opportunities. And so that's my example, but, there is the explorer as well, right? And so that's another one where, it's somebody who is constantly seeking adventure and knowledge, and maybe it has to do with travel, but maybe it's exploring a topic in a really deep way and then sharing that with the world. And so the more you can embody that, the more magical things can really get. And oftentimes, we think as a CEO we need to be in a builder type of archetype. That's one of the archetypes as well. Because that's what we've seen around us, is like the leaders around us, and particularly in tech, right? As well as, it's building some kind of software, but that's not what everybody is. Maybe you're actually designed as an educator. So you should be out there with your thought leadership and, doing speeches and talking, whatever else it is. So if you don't know what that is, it's really hard to navigate creating a business that is really soul aligned.
Yes, I love that. Oh my gosh, yes. And you've got a quiz for everybody, which I'm super excited that they get to take. So I'm going to pop the link in the description so you guys can just go to the description, grab that link, take the quiz, find out what archetype you are. And then if you want more support in navigating your purpose and making sure that everything feels soul-led and aligned, they can find you. Where can they find you, Michele?
Yeah, you can find me on my website, micheleparad.com. I'm also on Instagram at michele.parad. And yeah, I will be starting a community very soon called the Co-Creators. So I'm super excited for that. And the idea behind it is I got this intuitive hit that the new form of marketing is really about collaborations, and specifically collaborations amongst other micro communities. So it's like all of these different communities that have the same values and maybe similar, missions, but definitely the same vision, ultimately for a better earth, a kinder society, better systems, all that. And the way that we can uplift each other is by promoting each other. And that will effectively help us get away from this content bandwagon on the social media platforms as well. It'll probably still be there and exist, but I feel like anything that forces you to do something every day is also a trap, right? In of itself. So if we want to free ourselves from meeting these platforms, this is, I would say, the way that we can all help each other.
Yeah.
So
I love connections and collaborating in community. I think it's so powerful. And it's fun, like we get to bring people in our community that serves our audience, like you're here with me, and like I get to share with your audience. And these micro communities with collaborations are just so, so powerful. And I think especially for women, right? We have it in our DNA to work together in community. And I think that it's just, I love this kind of conscious revolution that we're shifting into now, where we're becoming more conscious that we get to actually choose the way that we're doing things, and to have it be more heart-led and have it be more soul-led, instead of relying on the aggressive, manipulative tactics that we've seen, or that are being taught out there. And bringing I love the word micro communities, bringing each other into each other's ecosystems is so, so powerful. So thank you for being another contributor on there, and send me an invite, because I will absolutely jump in.
love to have you. Absolutely. Yeah. So super excited for this. I feel like it's a movement, it's
It
a
is.
movement with multiple people. I definitely see that it's like a circle, it's a circle of different people with the same level of consciousness. It's like the one consciousness ultimately.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and we're here to ultimately share. So
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Yeah, it's so interesting. And I think that this just kind of happens naturally, right? When we're meant to be in the room with other like-minded people who are also doing the right, they come in. And, I have always, thought of the way that the old model has been taught is that there's just one pie. And if I take a big piece of the pie, then there's less for everybody else. And
right.
the new consciousness model that I teach and that I choose to believe in is there's a whole damn bakery. We get together and we can make as many pies or cakes or cookies as we want. There's plenty for everybody. And that just feels so much more fun to look at working and living and building amazing businesses that support other people in ways that everybody wins, instead of having there be a winner and a loser.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what is it? The zero sum game, that's not
Oh, is
really
that it?
what we're, if one wins, then one loses, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we're moving into an abundance mindset is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
everybody has opportunities, and someone who is attracted to working with you it's kind of God-given. There's a very specific formula that happens, some kind of algorithm that happens.
Yeah.
And there isn't competing, because everyone is really matched up divinely, I would
Yeah.
say, with
Yeah.
the right people to work with. And so yeah, this mentality of like, oh, if I give to this person, then I won't get, or that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's been ingrained in unfortunately in corporations and
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
environments that, I've definitely been through, where it hasn't been sisterhood at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Totally. Yeah. It's like the crab trying to climb out of the crab pot, and then they just pull it all down, right? Yeah. There's definitely, that mindset piece that in order for me to win, somebody else has to lose. And I love that you mentioned that about clients too, because I totally believe in that. Like, I don't believe that anybody can take my clients, and I don't believe that I can take anybody else's clients. I believe that, we resonate with the people that we're most meant to serve based on our own gifts, our own energy, their own gifts, their own energy.
right.
And yeah, so when we let go of that idea that if I'm too generous, somebody else is going to win and I'm going to lose, it just opens up into so many more opportunities and possibilities for everybody.
Absolutely. In fact, you get more clients,
Yeah, you do. You're like, oh, wow. Yeah.
so that's the interesting part about it. But yeah, no, so I'm super excited for what's to come. I feel like it's a conscious revolution, and it's happening at a quick speed. And
Yeah.
yeah, there's a a lot of people out there that are awakening and needing help as well, and needing navigation. So I'm sure a lot of you that are listening are part of that as well. And so, it's just about helping each other to succeed at the end of the day. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh my
So.
gosh. On that note, like that is the best note for us to like complete on, is it's all about at the end of the day helping each other. I love that so much. Michele, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much. It's been so fun.
Yes. All right. Get the link, take the quiz, reach out to Michele, and we will see you guys here next time. Bye.
Bye.